Hello.
I don't know how to change the background. It's not working for me, Suresh.
Let Pura do it. I have sent a copy to both, no?
Yeah.
Actually, we are not changing the background. We are just what she does also is just to show the screen. Her desktop. That's all. She opens it on her desktop and just shows it.
Okay.
I think that's what she does. I'm not sure. Anyway, let her do it. No problem.
Okay. It's possible to actually, it's actually possible to change the virtual background.
Yeah. I have never done it also. I have to one day sit and test it out somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's.
Lot of absenteeism today, apparently.
Yeah, it's a lovely poster. I would love to show it.
I like it. In fact, it was done at the last moment after finishing the book, no?
Yeah, see?
Very little time I had.
You can see now.
Worried I won't get it right.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So I'm going to...
When you do a rush job, it always works out better.
Okay. So let Purva join and I'll ask her.
We'll do that.
Yes.
Your recording is on, I think.
Yes, it's on.
You can make mine on or let Purva join and do it.
No, I think I can. Let me see how to do that. I keep forgetting how to do this all the time. Let me see. I think I have to.
I'll click record, see what it says.
I have to click on
it says host has to give you permission. You have to give me permission. Let Purva do it once she joins.
So I'm allowing you to record. See if
if you allow me to record, I can record right now.
Yes, I allowed you.
You've done it?
Yes, it should be okay now.
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Sundari.
Hey, hi. I just thought you're busy, so I won't say hello. Ninga patient irkelena.
Yeah, I'm trying to change the background to this amazing thing that Suresh did. I'm not able to do it. I don't know what the trick is. So waiting for Purva. Suresh, for the first time since I've joined this thing, I actually wrote my review. Can you believe it?
How nice.
Because it was...
I write down points only.
To write.
I don't write down the full review, only points.
To write.
It's such a simple... I have to find it, of course. I don't know where I shared it. But it's such a simple book.
It's a book for children, I say.
Actually, yeah.
I felt it very juvenile.
Very juvenile. I had my hopes up because it said India's Miss Marple and all that.
Yeah, that's why I got carried away by the reviews.
The reviews are so misleading, really.
Yeah, too much. Particularly in this case of this book.
Hi, Sundari. Hi,
Hello.
all of you. Hi, Suresh.
I'm always happy. Hello.
Yes, learning from you to be like that always.
Good. It's not too difficult.
Nice.
I might go midway. Not sure.
Let's see how it goes. So Sundari, you have a big review or a small review?
A few lines as usual.
I have noted down a few points.
Oh, Suresh, that's great. Can I tell you what? I just read the book. I finished the book. That's all.
Like that. It's just like that. Few hours.
Who said that? Did you say that, Sundari or Sujata? I can't remember.
Sujata.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with you.
I first took a notepad and pencil.
All the nothing needed.
Then I just thought, what? To be very frank, like in my young days, I used to read Ananda Vigadan so that I would never make spelling mistakes. Say Tamil was my second language. So my grandparents insisted I read Ananda Vigadan. It was reading a story like that.
Very nice.
Ananda Vigadan Kada, how it will be, like that, this was a story. That's it. But I would love to hear more about translations from Prema.
Unfortunately, she's not coming on today. I really miss her.
Yes.
All of us have questions to ask her.
We'll have one separate session for
I think we
how the books are being translated, like how Prema will visualize mentally before she translates the book. And I know we should have one session exclusively for the translation
I
of
think
books.
I will bring it up in my announcements about everybody
Yes.
joins in.
Yes.
I have a feeling that once in a while we should have one extra session in a month. If all the
Yes.
members agree.
You know
Or
what,
something special like this.
Suresh?
Need not be every month.
And why don't we do one book which has been translated by Prema, read
We
it,
should.
and
That is
then
what
we
I'm
will-
saying. No?
and
On
then
that
we will
meeting.
have the session.
Are any of her translations available in print? I seem to recall her saying that they weren't. There's a very
Yeah,
interesting
they
story
Yeah,
weren't.
out of print or something she was saying.
about
Okay.
that lady in Pondicherry. I believe it's out of print.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Achha,
We can get hold of
Suresh,
one print copy, we can make copies.
Yeah.
Suresh, I can get Prabha Sridevan, my niece.
Hmm.
She's done Meeran's book and a lot of recently she's done many
I have a
books.
feeling we should have one special meeting in a month, extra meeting like this once in a while. Maybe
Once
a couple of
in a
times a
while.
year or
Called
something.
Prabha and
Then we have
Prema.
something like this. Invite as an author or invite one of our members
Yes.
to give a special program.
No,
It will
we
work.
should do a book which Prema has translated.
Yeah.
And then we should then talk to her
Exactly,
and get her
on the
views.
same
That
meeting.
will give us lots of insight how a book is being translated.
You remember we had long time back a meeting with Timuri Murari.
Yes,
Same way.
yes.
We all
Exactly.
read not one, 3 or 4 of his books and then grilled him that
Yes.
day.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
really, really good, that meeting.
Yeah.
And
You
you know that
Mala,
time,
before your time.
Prema had read about 7 to 8 of his books.
All of us have read 2 or 3
met
only.
her at Music
My God.
Academy and told her I've read 3 or 4 of his books. So she said,
I read
"No, I've
about 2 or 3
7."
at that time.
I know.
That was some
She
meeting.
had read- Very nice. Hi, Nritya. Ages.
Nitya is coming after ages.
How are all of you?
Good, Nritya.
Hello.
Hi.
So nice to see you.
I know.
Yeah.
After ages.
Yeah.
Hey, hi.
So when are we having this institute meet? I think enough of virtual
Every month we hope it will happen and the numbers go up.
meet.
It's been happening for the last 3 months. Let us see how it goes.
Yeah.
Find a way to make the numbers go down. You're a doctor.
I'm trying my best.
But the government is not giving the correct picture because none of them are testing nowadays.
They are hardly testing. And
They're
quite a few
hardly
people
testing.
who do come positive are not informing. They are
Yeah.
quietly taking their treatment.
And they
Yeah.
just stay
And
quarantine
it is
themselves. And
rather
come out.
mild.
It's
Rather
very
mild.
mild.
Yeah, it's mostly mine. Yeah, it's mostly mine.
In
Suresh, if you test in any lab, it
Hmm.
immediately goes into the government's thing. The Chennai Corporation knows.
Oh,
I
then,
tested
they
on
don't seem to be
July
bothering in
12th.
other words.
No, they come immediately.
Yeah, they
there was a
come,
notice
when,
pasted, and I got that kit.
Hmm.
Yes, they know immediately. Immediately they said you've given it for COVID. I get a message. So I won't say that if you're testing in any lab,
Any
they
lab,
immediately
yes.
know.
Yeah.
Not
the
home
same,
test.
the same thing happened when my mom tested positive in one of the labs. The
Mhm.
corporation, they came with the kit, the poster, and everything. That way, I have no qualms with how they, they acted, at least in our cases. They're
Hmm.
doing their best. The problem is if people don't give them the tools they need, what can they
Exactly.
do?
What can you
Yes,
expect?
that is true. So,
So my
hey,
case,
how
I
is your
remember.
mom, Purva?
Hmm.
How is Amma?
She's fine. She's fine. She'd already been vaccinated, boosted, so very mild case. Thankfully, she's fine now.
Okay,
Same.
good.
After my vaccination, only I got my positive in January. It was extremely mild. In fact, I couldn't believe it. Absolutely no symptoms.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. Honestly, the only reason we even tested was she had a cough that was from some completely unrelated thing. But otherwise, absolutely no symptoms.
Hey, Maureen,
Hi,
hi.
Maureen.
Hi, hello. Hi, Sundri. Purva.
Hello.
Hey, Purva. Do you know how to change the background? I made you co-host, I think. Can you change
One
it?
second. Let me just snag the background because I haven't done that.
Okay.
I've sent the mail to you.
Yeah. No, I just forgot. No, work was kind of crazy. I just forgot. Hang on.
Okay.
I just have a call to attend. I'll just leave and come back again.
Sure.
Chandra's joined.
Good.
Hi, Devika.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are a small, sweet crowd.
Yeah.
It's going to be small. Too many missing.
What happened to the dog?
Mala, could you try making me the host again? It's saying host disable participant screen sharing.
Oh, let me look again.
And yeah, you need to give me permission to record as well, please.
Yeah.
1 sec. Because I set it up when I, created the invite, and it said name co-host, so I named you. So I don't understand what's going on. Make host. Yeah,
You must
should I
have
make you
clicked the
host?
go host, not
Okay.
the co-host.
Co-host, because last time I couldn't record after I made you host.
Yeah, that happens too many times, I say. That's why all three of us try to record. At least one will work.
Okay, you are now co-host. Can
Yeah, you're now the co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me hit record.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, you do screen sharing, of course.
Oh,
You know what I was
Suresh.
trying
Hey, this
to
is
do?
beautiful.
I was
Actually,
trying to
This is
actually.
the best part of the book is this.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is better than
book.
better than the book.
Yes.
I
It's
understand
good
now.
fun doing it.
I was so dumb. I was trying to change the virtual background. It wouldn't let me do it.
No, that is rather difficult.
Yeah.
No, Mala, this is the outcome of over a year of teaching classes on Zoom. Trust me, I have made a massive number of very asinine mistakes.
How sweet.
That's what experience is all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you end up just hopefully making either new mistakes or at least less stupid ones.
And you're helping others by telling them what mistakes you made so that others don't make the same.
And we make new mistakes.
Do you really believe it?
Hey, Suresh, a special thanks to Mala. Silently, she has been hosting the meet with us every time. No, Mala and
And
Purva.
well in advance.
Thank you.
That's the link very well in advance. Suresh, I have a request before we start the views. I'd like to hear from Purva why she chose this book, and
My God.
I just want to understand the thinking behind Purva's.
Just trying to play quiet about it.
No, I want to know. I really want to know. I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not?
There's a
Why not?
thinking behind,
She must be having some reasons.
Honestly, and very, very bluntly, I wanted something different from the literary fiction we had been reading. I wanted. I recall reading this a few years ago and quite enjoying it. And so I wanted something that was short, that had been written by an Indian author, that it happened to be by, a woman from Tamil Nadu and written in Tamil was icing on the cake. Because I have been made more aware of my bias against Indian authors. So I'm trying to expand myself a little bit. No, fundamentally it was because we'd been reading, I think, a lot of literary books at one point. And I was just like, you know what, let's do something different. And this is a book, and it was also because it was a collection of 3 short stories. And I think at that point we had been doing a lot of, door stoppers, quite frankly. So it was just that. It was just, wanting something different.
Ended up too different.
Hey, I didn't subject you all to a romance novel this time.
Yeah.
Hey, can we start?
Yeah, we
4,
should.
5.
Yeah.
Shall I remove the...
Yeah. Then I'll go with my announcements first, or?
Please.
Yes.
As
Please,
usual.
announcements.
Oh, Meera has joined. Hi, Meera and Chandra.
Good.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
My coffee. Hi.
Hi, Lulu.
Hi.
See, first I want to talk about our recent voting, our book club voting system. We used to select by cumulative total votes. That's how we started last year. Then we changed it to votes collected in the current election only. And it had genuine reasons behind it, being the more current view of most of the members. We only used the cumulative total votes to decide on the 10 books which made it to the pre-nominations list. Now I have made some changes to the system to make it more efficient and more easy for me to administrate. Quite a few books, whether pre-nominated or currently nominated, get 0 votes. This is something we have noticed. So what I have done is, any book getting 0 votes will not be pre-nominated for the next election. Whatever its total cumulative points are, I'm assuming that 0 votes now means that we have since moved on and don't consider this book an essential read anymore. For example, currently we have The Truths We Hold with a cumulative total points of a huge amount, 257. So many people have been asking about this. Somehow it never really made it to the top 2. It is leading the list, but it received 0 votes in the voting cycle now. This will get it removed from the pre-nomination list automatically. Otherwise, because of its high score, it will be permanently occupying one position in the pre-nomination list, even after nobody votes for it. So that is why this change has been made. Now, nothing prevents this book from being nominated again. Of course, somebody wants it, they can do it, but it will not be automatic. Then one more change I made was, any books in the total nominated books list with a cumulative point 0 should be deleted from the list, in the interest of keeping this list to a reasonable size. It's already reached 100. Then one more thing which we found the last 2-3 elections. The pre-nominations list seems to be confusing many of our members. Actually, I want to give the reasoning behind creating a pre-nominations list. I had thought that it will help jog the memory of what books were popular in the last election, as well as give some bulk to the list of books standing for election. Supposing sufficient number of new books are not nominated, we still have a good number standing for election of some, at least recently, very popular books. This was the one reason this list has been created. Then the one more thing. Just 25 members voted this time. All our earlier elections had 30 plus. Do you all feel anything needs to be done, or it's just a blip?
It's
What
a
do you
blip,
answer?
I think.
I think it's a blip.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean,
I think
generally, what
maybe-
July, August,
maybe the-
they tend to be slower months. Generally, I think.
Yeah.
I think, Suresh, 25 is a good number. Why?
25 is a good number. I am not complaining that way. It's not a complaint.
Yeah.
It is just that it is lower, quite a bit lower than our usual norm. That's the only thing.
I think
Good.
a lot of
But
people are
Suresh,
also traveling.
25 was not initial. You kept messaging saying, listen,
That
nobody
I do.
voting. Only 5 people are voting.
No, and I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go
That
ahead,
needs to be
Purva.
done.
No, and I think what was it? That Thursday Murder Club had such a galloping lead that honestly,
There's no point
yeah.
in voting. Honestly, yes. There is no point in voting at one stage. But
So they say that if voting thing is low, it means that the government is either too good or too bad. Either way, it won't be. So we have to assume that, just assume all the nominations are too good. So
no,
people don't care.
my feeling
That's what we
is,
assume.
since we have a pre-nominations list, if you vote for what you are mentioning now and it makes a reasonable total, it will get nominated automatically next month. Otherwise, you are going to forget it. That is the whole purpose of the pre-nominations list. So that is why I'm removing all the books which are getting 0 from the list, so that it will be genuinely current. Let us see. Then one more point. This is my mistake. I have been very lazy and not updated our members directory. Many of you have already given your information and you can find it in our folder. I will be sending the links all over again after the meeting at my photography website. You can find the folder. It is password protected. Because I'll be providing the member, only our members with the password, it's totally private. The website is highly secure. So there is no risk in having any information in it. I request you to view your page if you have already given the information and send me any additions, deletions, corrections, if any. I keep doing it for I am administering my college alumni group also and keep doing it regularly there. Otherwise, I have all sorts of wrong telephone numbers, wrong addresses and stuff there. Of course, if your photo is missing or you prefer a different, more glamorous photo, wonderful. Please send me the file. I will be sending out the forms to the others. A lot of the new members, I have sent the forms. So I have not received any replies. I'll send them again. Please do complete them and send me the photo you would like to display. So this is the background as far as the information portion is concerned. Now for the review.
I have a quick question or suggestion, Sureshji. As far as the voting goes, I find that most people either vote for 1 or 2 or max 3 books. I don't know if it makes sense to just say vote for 3 books. I don't know what people feel, but I thought 3 books is more than enough for us to figure out what we want to read.
No, that number would have been changing every election. You would have noticed that what I am doing is I'm going roughly at 25 to 30% of the total number of books standing for election. So if there are something like 25 books, we select 5 or 6, that sort of a thing.
Oh, okay.
So supposing there are only 15 books, there's no point in selecting 5. It will be too large a number.
Ah, correct. Okay.
So this is the reason I've kept that each time I mention the number. And secondly, when there are a lot of, you look at all this, you think a little, you can understand the reasoning behind it. Supposing you vote for 2 other books, just because you need to vote for 5, you vote for 3 other books, although you are serious only about 2, you are boosting the other 3 books total score and pushing them up in the list. You may not want to do it. In fact, you may want to be careful not to do it. At the same time, you like a lot of books and you like to get your book somewhere in the total, up there in the totals. You vote for 5. So it boils down to that. And what Purva says is very true. Once you find at one stage that there is a huge lead, you lose the incentive to even vote.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Don't do it because of the reason I mentioned now. Your second best book, what you want, is going to be lost next month, if not now. By doing that, vote for it, get its marks up, push it up, so that next month it's automatically in the list and then you push it again. Lobbying matters, man, in real life voting as well as here. It really, really, really matters. Proof is there. Ask Devika, she'll tell you. It has worked for her. It has worked for me. I tried it once. It worked for me. So lobbying works. There's no doubt about it. So now let's go to the review portion. Now, Andheri Overbridge by Ambai. First impression. Definitely not a book club worthy book. Overall, the book did not feel as if it was aimed at adults. I felt it rather juvenile, honestly. At the same time, Ambai seems to be a good storyteller. Stories are well crafted in that aspect. Believable characters drawn in detail. Descriptions are good. Then why doesn't this book click? Did the original flavor not come through after translation? I have a huge doubt on this point. I was waiting for Prema to join today to ask her this specific question. If any of you have read Ambai in Tamil, please discuss this point after my talk. Then I'm not being all so-called mystery detective stories. There's no point in summarizing the stories. It will give away everything. So I'll just go by my impressions of the stories. Sorry. The first story was okay. Unusual story for a South Indian author, the subject being incest. I thought Gopal was able to fool the doctors about his mental state too easily. Gopal is one of the people in the picture. If you have read the book, you will understand what I'm saying. He fooled the doctors so easily that everybody agreed that he needed to be hospitalized for some time and things like that. I like Sudha Gupta's intuition to follow up on Harshita's disappearance. It's simple. Her mentor in the detective field also mentioned the same thing. Anybody Gopal loves disappears. It's happened before. But for a detective story, things fall into place too easily. Everybody opens up the moment they are contacted and their innermost secrets details to a stranger. I mean, it is just absurd, almost absurd to the extent the Sudha or somebody goes to somebody and asks a question, everything comes out. It was so too easy. The second story was even much more, definitely too simple. There was no detection or investigation in it at all, according to me. Too many coincidences. And Singaravelan and Malarvili, the characters in the picture who are being investigated, open up with their secrets, deep secrets, as soon as they are just asked once. And the story is over. So where is the detection in it? I don't understand. The story, yes. The way the story was crafted, all that, yes, good. But the detective story feeling wasn't there. It's the third story. It's a fairy tale. That is the feeling you get once you read the book. I have a lot of doubts. In fact, any for members or lawyers, they'll be able to, or a financial person, they may be able to answer this. Can a mortgage happen like in the story? The financier comes with a checkbook. This lady shows him the documents of the property across the table and he signs a check. Is that how it does in real life? Not to my knowledge. Some of these things are, I mean, like, too much to believe. Then again, locating a 40-year-old transaction in a jewelry store. I know I have been involved with jewelry stores all my life as a designer. It just can't be done. Locating the bank details of a 40-year-old check transaction in a bank. No comments. Even for the police. And the family, an individual, not a business person, mind you, having passbooks, bank passbooks of 40 years ago. I mean, just unbelievable the way the story goes. It's a fairy tale, nothing more than that. That's why I felt overall book is juvenile. It was not aimed at adults. But one good thing about the book was it was short. Yes. Then I don't know how many of you had experience. I had a horrible experience with Amazon in connection with this book. I don't know if I had mentioned it earlier. Amazon had a absolutely absurdly low price, just 52 rupees or something for that.
54, yeah.
And I bought it. And I get a lovely book. I start reading. Suddenly after 20 minutes, it's over. Then I look at the details and it says 32 pages out of the 276. That is all Amazon was selling. Nowhere had they mentioned it anywhere except in the one small line where they give the specifications of that download. That's only place where it says 32 pages. And even there, it doesn't say it's the part of the book. I got cheesed off and I mean, it's a Kindle purchase, so I didn't expect to get my money back, honestly. I cheesed off and wrote a stinker to Amazon. Within 5 minutes, I got the credit back. Which means it is intentional. They are expecting a lot of brickbats. And when somebody else, they return the money. If they don't, wonderful. That is my reading. So Amazon purchases, Kindle purchases, please go through the specifications, detailed. You open the page, you open the details, open the Kindle details, open the book details, read both and see if they tally and only then buy. This is very bad experience I had and I think I should mention it because a lot of us do buy Kindle books. So this is the way I can review this book. I don't know what else to say. Ambai, I mean, but the reviews were all too good, honestly. I was also carried away when I saw the reviews. So I want to ask somebody who has read Ambai in Tamil to be able to put some light on this subject. It is just bad translation. Is it just what it is? I was waiting for Prema to attend. Unfortunately, she's not. When she does, and this is the first question I'm going to ask her. So the floor is open.
Has anyone read the book in Tamil?
Any Ambai for that matter.
Yeah.
No.
Prema
So
has.
Yes,
So that
yes,
way-
yes, I have read her books in Tamil. And they are, I mean, this is very
Guys,
different
first
from what
boo, I just
Yeah.
read one short story which I got from Amazon and thought that was the book. Stupid
Yeah.
person I am. I
Same
read
thing
just
happened to
one.
me.
I didn't read that. Now when you're talking, I'm thinking, what
Oh God, oh Chandra, oof.
You've frozen.
have I done? Same. I thought it was juvenile, silly, childish.
Let's hear Meera on if she has read Ambai in Tamil.
Yes, I have read her books in Tamil.
Okay.
And this is, I haven't read these though. Apparently they were not, like they were published in different magazines at different points of time. And then the publisher suggested that she put it together sort of, and and then get it translated or whatever. So this book as it is doesn't exist in Tamil, which is why I thought that it's not there in Tamil at all. But apparently these are separate stories that have appeared over a period of time, right? Over years actually. So her book, this is very different from what she usually writes. Her stories are usually, what can I say, very sort of shine the light on lives of women, primarily in in metro cities. A very feminist sort of writing, which this is also really, but it isn't her usual style at all. I haven't read this in Tamil, but this seems to be sort of outside the norm of what she usually does. And yeah, that's her stories. A lot of it has, sort of talks about the psyche of a woman and the society around her and all of that, which also this sort of briefly touches upon, but really not having read this originally in Tamil, I really don't know how the translation compares. I've read one book that she won the Sahitya Academy Award for this last year, I want to say. ஒரு பச்சை சிவப்பு கழுத்துடன் ஒரு பச்சை பறவை, a red-necked green bird. So I read it in Tamil and in English for an event I was doing for the organization I work with. And the translation was okay, but I can see how translation can really take away some of the nuances of a language. But that book was much better translated. It was also more along the lines of how she usually writes or what she usually writes about. So that is all I have to say really. This didn't feel like a
Ambai
her
book.
Like an Ambai book. I had read same thing. I didn't buy it. It was for free on Juggernaut. This was years ago. I want to say 3-4 years ago, when I got only the first book. Now only the meeting on the Andheri Overbridge. Just that.
Yeah, that's what Amazon was selling also. Only that.
Yeah. So it was actually originally published by Juggernaut, which was one of those earlier online publishers, right? So when I read it, I was like, look back and I saw whether it was the same Ambai, because it is a little different. But again, I think to your point that it isn't very crime based. I don't think it is, and I don't think she means it to be also. Because I think it means for her, it seems to be like a way to shine light on people, how people think, feel, act, etc. in the context of crime. Let's say in a context of work or context of home. Now this is in the context of crime. That is how I read it. But you're right, English light was really not something that I would have picked up for sure. Thanks.
I will say one thing I did like about the book was a lot of detective stories, especially Hercule Poirot or Sherlock Holmes. The emphasis there is on, the great genius of the detective. I like the emphasis here on, Sudha's actually going and talking to people and basically the community around her. I thought that was a little bit different for a novel, and I felt like it's a lot truer to how crime actually gets solved, like doing the grunt work of going and talking to people, not just whatever gray matter working in isolation. That I did appreciate about it.
That is true. The storytelling portion is good, cannot deny it. It's only just something is missing. That's exactly what you feel when you read this book.
No, I want to hear, I would love to hear what Prema has to say about translation as well, because even as I was reading through it, I was like, damn it, I should have paid more attention in my Tamil classes in school.
Anyway.
Is there anyone else?
Hello, Lakshmi.
Hello, good evening,
Hi,
everybody.
Lakshmi.
Hi.
Good.
Sorry, I
Did you
haven't
get-
been keeping well, and I've just come back from the doctor, and I'm feeling
Thanks.
pretty miserable at the moment anyway. But I couldn't miss this.
Glad you're here.
Share with us your thoughts, Lakshmi.
I don't have very much to say on this book because I read it more than a month back, and I read it at one go. So I can't remember very much about it, except I don't know if it's been said, but it had tremendous parallels with Alexander. Can you hear me? Because I can't talk. Really
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Great. It had parallels with Alexander McCall Smith's Ladies Agency. Has that been discussed already?
No.
No.
But I like those books. Yeah.
I like those books too.
Even I like those books.
Yeah, I think I just came in when Suresh was saying something was missing in this. Yes, something was missing in this. Perhaps it's the translation that didn't do her justice. I don't know. But it's the structure of the whole agency is almost uncannily like the one in Botswana, McCall Smith's. You've got a lady detective who's single, and then she gets married in the course of the books. She's got a secretary who discuss their plans over innumerable cups of tea. Here it's cinnamon, there it's rooibos. The people, the villains of the plot, as it were, are not deadly, dastardly villains or anything like that. They're just your common and garden villains. Nobody's really innately bad. So I saw that a lot in the book, and I wondered if she had picked up from that, from McCall Smith, or vice versa. I don't know when Ambai wrote her books. The plots were a little convenient, but altogether, I would say it's one of those beach reads. You read it to pass the time, and then you pass it on to a friend. There was no psychological depth to it, which I like a lot. But it's enjoyable. Okay. If we have time, who did I miss? Who res?
Didn't miss anyone.
No,
You
we
know
didn't
what?
miss.
If there's no one, can I go?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I felt was that she's taken very, very ordinary situations and highlighted them in some way and brought things to our notice that these things do happen, and a lot of us make light of it, like even these property disputes and some where what I liked about the meeting on Andheri Bridge is that the Sandhya Bhai's character, the way she says, no, I have done all this and yet I'm not allowed to dream my dreams and follow my dreams. I think it's more that kind of thing that she's throwing light on than any attempt at being a super duper detective or that's what I felt. Because as far as the detective part of it was concerned, there was absolutely nothing to it. But there's plenty to be had as far as the psyche of the various characters are concerned across the number of people she brings in. That's something I liked in this book.
That is true. I missed the whole thing because I was looking at it as a detective mystery story. The entire approach was that when I started reading, and it was a disappointment.
I have a question, Lulu. Supposing the Sandhya was sitting on that Andheri station and this Sudha never came there. I mean, and then Sandhya will just sit there. I mean, how can she just take her suitcase and go?
It is. See, it's not that. See, a lot of I have to say I've had experience of quite a number of my friends, and I could relate to what Sandhya Bai was doing, because a lot of my friends have just picked up their car and driven off. One of them, if I start mentioning names, Devika, mentioning places, Devika, you would be able to guess. So I won't mention places, but they have taken their car and driven off to the outskirts of Chennai and remain there overnight because they have the facility to do so. And nobody at home would know where they are, just to get away from a frustrating situation. one or two have driven over to my house at night and stayed over and told me not to call their families and and they go home the next day. That's fine. So here you're just taking it a little further, where this Sandhya Bai does not have the wherewithal, may not have a car, or may not have an alternate house to go to, or whatever. So she's just got into that train just to move away from a situation. Probably when she sits and rethinks, because there is a point where she says, I just sat there not knowing what further to do, because she could not go anywhere without money. So eventually she would have had to go back to her house, and so that's a question mark. But this psyche does exist, where there have been at least 3 women friends of mine who have gotten away, who have moved away from a situation in their house and gone back.
But Lulu, she walking out from her house, it was because of her sister's letter to her.
Yes.
It was not her idea originally. Only when her sister said.
No, but then, as the story goes, she says, I had in her letter to her husband and friend, that last letter where she has written, at the back of my mind, there was this dream to go back to the soil. And I just didn't know how to go about it. And when my sister asked me this, a germ of an idea germinated.
Okay.
Could be. That's all. There is nothing for a detective in this. NOTHING with a capital G. But these little things, these social norms, social little flings that and it is women oriented. So maybe Suresh didn't catch that. But having been through this same thing that Sandhya has gone through with at least 3 friends of mine, I was able to relate to what exactly Sandhya was doing.
Probably she was frustrated with her family. Don't know. Could be.
No, when Sujata and I were just chatting about the book, and she came up with what I thought was a great insight. She said, this is a perfect Ananda Vigadan. Every week it comes.
Yes. And that is exactly what it was. No, it is from magazines, whatever she has published in magazines put together as a book.
Not even Kalki. Kalki has got more solid stories. It is Ananda Vigadan.
Yes.
I think a little bit of labeling it as a crime novel might have.
That was the mistake.
That was a mistake.
I think it shifted how we look at the books. I think that's.
That was a mistake.
It's no crime novel, no way.
Definitely no.
But one thing.
Please.
Yeah, Purva, go ahead. Go ahead, Purva.
No, I think perhaps, Mr. Suresh, your familiarity with jewelry stores did you a disservice in this instance. A friend of mine who is a doctor cannot watch, ER or any of the medical shows. And my lawyer friends just refuse to watch any of the cop shows because they were just screaming and throwing things at the television. So perhaps you were not the best audience for Sandhya Bai.
Vijay wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I may.
Yeah, please.
I feel very disappointed with the book. There was nothing for us to hold to and discuss about, I thought. And
that's true.
I too wanted to go through the Tamil version, but I couldn't. And I was also wanting to explore what Ambai's writing actually is, but since she had recently won this award, Sahitya Academy Award, was more interested to read her in Tamil either. I think she could have expanded upon, but it was a very disappointing book for me. Whoever suggested this, I was what made them. It was probably that Sahitya Academy bonhomie that drove us to select
actually,
this
no, I read it a couple of years ago. I quite liked it, and I don't know. I prefer it to some
You were
of the
so
books
much
I've read
younger, you
over the
loved it.
years.
It was your correct age group.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you set aside that this was supposed to be a detective novel, and what got me going and interested in it originally was references to Miss Marple, India's own Miss Marple, and things like that.
Mhm.
So I opened the book and I started reading it. And the first few pages, I really liked the English. It was easy to read. The English was in the background, the story was in the foreground. At least that's how it appealed to me. But the first book I thought was kind of like, wait, you're leaving so many easy clues. So before too long, I knew exactly who the culprit was and that these girls were going to be, digging their own graves, and all of those clues kind of like were so obvious. There was no mystery left in it. And I thought, okay, next. So then came the next story, and it was not a crime detective, but it was like a missing persons kind of thing, or a background check kind of thing. So then I decided that maybe, okay, this happens, right? In India, particularly, people check out the backgrounds of prospective brides and grooms and all of that. And so I found that little bit kind of interesting. And it had an unusual twist to it, because the Stella decides to go get married to this guy, and she's going to mount a campaign to win him over. And I thought that was kind of cute. And then the last story about Sandhya Bai was the one that I actually did enjoy, because it was written in a way that is so plausible. I know of several people that get disgusted with the present circumstances to the place where they wanted to change their life, the way they lived their life. But being a woman in this traditional household, she couldn't have actually done it without taking the kinds of steps she did. Yeah, it was a little slick how she found out, the provenance of the land and all of this other stuff. She found it so easy. All of the clues came together so easily. But I still thought that the way in which these things were described were, even though easy reading, it's sort of like was the best of the three stories. And I like the last letter that she wrote to her husband saying, hey, I'm not doing it because I'm disgusted with you. I'm doing it because I want to do something for myself that you may or may not support. And a lot of us feel like this at some point in life, where we have to stand up for ourselves and take decisions despite whatever the circumstantial or familial pressures might be. So I found that last of the three books to be the most read worthy, even though I must say that the entire book I did it in like 1.5 days. It was just so easy to read. So yeah, it was enjoyable change from the usual deep thought, deeply philosophical or psychological or, clue-ridden crime stories. It was easy read. It was like entertaining over a cup of coffee kind of thing.
No, I just had a thought. Is anyone here much of a short story reader? Yeah, Mala.
I do read
No,
short
yeah,
stories,
no,
but not English. I do read.
No, I was just wondering how that lens might have contributed to your perception of the book as well. Because the thing with short stories, you fundamentally do not have the time for an intricate, complicated solution. You just don't have, you literally do not have enough words. So I'm wondering whether, if we're used to these longer novels where protagonists have the space to grapple with things, whether we see short stories a little differently because of that.
That's really good point, Purva.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, very good point.
Actually, particularly in the
Not at all. I think I will
detective
differ there.
stories.
Short stories can be as much engaging as a long. It's not about the length
yeah.
of the.
No, it's not. It's not about
Not at all
engaging.
that.
It's just about having time to plot.
Whatever.
Now let me.
In its conciseness.
It is different.
It is more concise. That's all. In a novel, you have that space to expand upon, but short stories have their own.
It's a different beauty.
Yeah, definitely.
But in a field like crime fiction, I have a feeling a longer story has an edge.
I think so. It has.
But this is not crime.
Not
that is the whole problem. No,
that's what they've decided. This is not crime.
That is exactly where I got misled also.
So what is a
kept looking
detective
for
doing
crime
there?
and nothing happened.
If there's no crime, what's a detective doing?
I don't know. It's not
finding lost people, or unraveling
I just read, okay, just got one book,
So
which is
this is just a
meeting at
background
Andheri
checks kind of
Yeah, yeah.
story,
One.
background checks too.
No, it was wrongly marketed.
marketed. And
Yeah.
Well, you want a time
my
novel, there's
review
one
is
coming
based
up
on that.
next month.
Another very disappointing thing is that the repetition, that she keeps repeating her story. The editor could have done a little bit of concern, intervention from the editor could have done that. For all the 3 stories, you have to
plot
go
is
through
too
her story.
simple. This
Her
is too
likeness for the tea, all that. It's like you are hearing it for the first time.
That I agree, but partly what has happened is because it was marketed like Chandra and Suresh got sort of misled or cheated, depending on what you think. It was marketed as separate stories also. So for them to market it separately, so you could buy each of them separately on Juggernaut, which is what I did too, right? So I only bought the first one. It was free then. But so that's why they had to do that.
Meera, they're
I mean, when
comparing
they
her to
put it
Miss
together in a
Marple.
book,
I mean,
Meera.
come on, that was definitely misleading, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Scroll was doing there. I mean, I like the story, but Mrs. Suresh is right. It's fundamentally not a detective story in the vein of Sherlock Holmes. But yeah.
No, let me tell you, it is not, I'm not talking whether it's detective novel or anything. What I felt was that it was not written well. There was nothing, there was no meat. It was just some bare Do you know what it sounded like to me? When we were in college, we used to have these drama, writing competition. I used to, and they will give us a few points. A lady is met in the bus stand and she goes away. And then we will fill up half an hour short story competition. I used to come first, okay? The fill up is very easy. This lady met and I'm only 15 years old or 16 years old. So my brain is, you go there, you get everything. You go here, you get everything. At the end of the day, they say, oh, great job, clap, clap. Seriously, that is how I felt. I've read superb short stories, superb. And I've read, I don't know, not in English. I'm not talking about New York Times or whatever. I'm not even talking about the New York short story sort of things. But I have read where this.
Chandra, your audio's out.
Oh gosh.
Now we can hear you.
It's come back.
I'll put off the video then maybe. Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very disappointing. Very, very disappointed. I seriously thought it was like some college competition and I filled in the blanks and it became a short story. And because it was Ambai and she got the Sahitya Academy Award, people published it and Chandra was stupid enough to buy a book for $52. Sorry, cheated into buying a book. Thank you. That was me. I've never felt so disappointed after reading a book. I don't know.
Although the question there remains for Prema to help us answer, was it Ambai's fault or was it this Geeta Rajagopalan's fault? Yeah, the translator's fault.
No, I don't think it's a translation. There's nothing gone amiss in the translation. I don't think so. I don't see anything in the original plot either.
No, I remember reading okay, so this is Harry Potter. Granted, the original is of dubious literary merit. I will give you that. But I remember reading the English version of Harry Potter and then the French version. And trust me, the French version was had managed to make a book about magic completely devoid of it. So I can absolutely believe that that there was a translator screw up there.
The question is, Ambai a reputed author? I know nothing about this. The first time I came
yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She's big name.
She's a
And
Sahitya
for
Academy
short
Award winner.
stories,
So to truncate a message for it, I'm glad we did a book by her. Well written, not well translated, I don't know. But I'm glad I did a book with her if she's well reputed. I really don't know much about authors from South India. So I'm glad we did it.
Actually, I would love to read it in Tamil, even if it's slowly. It may be a laborious read. But
Chandra, I'll teach you, Chandra.
Yeah, all of us are waiting.
Yeah.
I'd also like to say something. One
Yeah,
of the rare occasions
please.
that I actually managed to read the book before the book club started in this last 2 years.
Success.
Yeah, so I mean, even I was very disappointed. And not, I was expecting a nice, good detective, and I was very happy to see that it was an Indian detective novel, but because that didn't happen. I just have something to say. This is about the last story about Ambai. I completely get the fact that she wanted to do something for herself, and she spent her entire life taking care of her family and all of that. I just thought that the way she did it was, too abrupt. I mean, I was thinking about if my mom was supposed to, was going to do something like that, I would be very upset with her, And the letter that she wrote, actually, if she had said that to her family at the time that they were discussing, instead of saying, I just need to go, I think that would have been better. I don't know. I mean, she can. I'm not saying that she shouldn't go and she shouldn't follow her dream and all of that, but I just thought dropping a bombshell like that suddenly without any explanation and just wanting to push off. And also that whole mortgage thing. I mean, suddenly she's put all that responsibility on her children, on her husband, to manage to figure out for her husband. But still, I would consider it as a very, very rude shock if any of my parents did that to me. But I'd be happy to, I mean, I'm not saying she shouldn't go and follow her dream. I just feel that the way it was done was probably not the best way to do it. And I mean, women's rights, feminism, all of that is fine. But I just thought that, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I could imagine it happening to me as my parent doing it to me. I would be like really shocked that how can you just up and go, without having a talk about it. But the letter, even I like the letter a lot, and I very strongly felt that if she had said all those things that she said in the letter, then her family might have understood her better. And then there wouldn't be any need for them to, label her not a sound mind or keep her under guard, keep somebody to watch over her, because then they might have understood. I just felt that just to say that I need to follow my dream and I'm done with all of you, I'm leaving, seemed a little abrupt.
No, it was more a question of desperation, I think.
I'm sorry, what?
It was more a question of desperation.
Yeah,
it is mentioned in the story.
Latika has to unmute.
Yeah.
She's saying something, but she's not muted.
Yeah.
When was this book? I'm talking about the last one, the meeting on Andheri Bridge, because I did buy the book on Amazon, and then I asked Purva if this was all that there was to the book.
It is only 1/3 of the book.
It's just not even 1/3. It's less than
even
that.
less. That's the smallest story of the lot.
Yeah, that's the smallest story. But I just wanted to know, hearing everybody, when was this book written? Any idea? Or when was this story published in the magazine?
This the collected edition is 2016, but I could not. It doesn't have individual print dates for the stories.
Oh, okay. Because the story she described, parts of it is something which did happen in good old Chennai many, many years ago, many decades ago. So somebody acting the way she did, okay, that sounds a little irrational. The reaction of the family, which the speaker before me just spoke about, that's exactly what happened. They do get the people committed, saying they're of unsound mind. And Suresh, the whole thing about, if you really look at a detective novel and you look at detection, there's a huge difference. In fact, the novel normally takes off all the donkey work and just comes on with the exciting work. So I guess this one showed a little bit else, but of course it was a tad too easy. Whatever you might think of our banks, yes, they do have records of centuries back. Wading through the whole thing can't be done overnight. right.
That is exactly what I
that's
feel.
about all I
Not
would
that the
say.
data will not be there.
But they do have this stuff. And yeah, the last book, because that's all I've read, was very easy reading, a little too easy, and it was over too fast. And you just left thinking, what else was I supposed to read? So that's it. Was that bit was a little disappointing. Suresh, I absolutely disagree with you on the lobbying point for one simple reason. I think every one of us can read reviews, can read whatever, and decide for ourselves if we want to read a book or not. I don't think you need to lobby.
No, that's
And
right.
it's not
Provided all
because,
of you
and
vote.
it's not because Kamala Harris is not being read. It's obvious there are folk who don't want to read it. Please don't. Read it sometime else. It doesn't have to be a book club book at all. But if you can read Barack Obama, you can definitely read Kamala Harris. But anyway, that's my own take on it, because I just feel it's history in the making, or rather whatever she dreamt about and can't do. But again, it won't be book club reading. So let's take it out of it altogether.
Yes, we will read Kamala Harris, but I will not be able to review that book in a book club. That's the problem I'll have if I am reading it.
No, that's precisely what I've been saying.
Yeah, I can understand.
I told everyone, read it in your own time. You know, you don't have to read it in the book club. Read it in your own time.
I don't agree, because this so many people have given views on this book. I mean, we would just finish the meeting in about 5 minutes. Everybody's saying, oh, it's okay, it's an ordinary book, nothing to discuss. But so many people have talked about it. So maybe Kamala Harris would be worth a read. I don't think we can dismiss any book so easily.
There is something known as lobbying even on the virtual world.
Latika, you
So
just
you
have
can
to.
find glowing reviews about something that need not be there at all.
Latika, you just have to hire Devika's service to promote Kamala Harris.
Yep. Oh, by
no,
the way,
I do.
Oh, sorry, Latika, continue, please. No, if anybody is interested, I found a list of reasons why women were committed to to an asylum in the 1800s. Some highlights, periodical fits, politics, political excitement, gathering in the head, business nerves, bad whiskey, seduction and disappointment, dissolute habits. I will put this in the WhatsApp group for your entertainment, I suppose, but I will totally believe that Sandhya Bai's family would have wanted her committed.
They were on the way.
Definitely
They were going well on the way. So it was a desperate action by her. That is how the story shows it to be. I mean, it's a question of communication breakdown which happens in our. There are, for example, what she has put in her letter. Do you seriously think should have been able to sit and talk it over? Most families won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
She was able to put it in a letter, yes. But do you seriously think she'd be able to sit with her family and talk that? I don't
Very
think so.
true, very true.
I do not think her family would have let her go any other way, frankly.
Yeah, that's it. This was the only way out for her. That way, I agree with what she has done to that extent. Agreed. It's a fairy tale ultimately, but then there it is.
So just 1 minute. It says that this was first published in Tamil in 2014. So all these stories have been written in Tamil. Andheri Membalathil Oru Sandippu. Andheri Bridge.
Membalam is Overbridge.
Whatever, sorry, excuse my Tamil. and Sudha, Tupparian, there is all these stories have been published in Tamil before.
Were they published in magazines as serials?
No, it says by a publication. First published by Jagannath Books. Oh, that is this book.
That is only one book.
But Tamil, it has been published in by a Kalachividu Publications 2014. It doesn't say it has come in a magazine. Hindu has published many of her stories, which are really very good. That's why I was very tempted to read this book. Many of these have come in Hindu, not these stories, but some of them are very well written, Ambai.
Hindu Tamil edition, you mean?
No, English, translated by maybe Prema. I don't remember the translators, but it has these short stories. Previously, they would bring a literary review, a separate magazine. And those had one full page of Ambai stories.
Okay, I think I have to make it's 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to go. I have to go, guys. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye. See you. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to run as well.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Purva.
Yeah.
Hala,
Thank you,
very much.
everyone.
Look
Yeah, it
forward to
was.
next month.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye. Nice seeing all of
Bye.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
This is a very interesting
Bye.
discussion.
See you.
Thank you.